Now, ship hunting is one huge aspect of No Man's Sky for a lot of players, and for some, it's probably the main reason they actually play the game. Now, I've done videos in the past doing different ship overviews, and I've done videos giving you the portal coordinates of some super rare ships. But in all my years of No Man's Sky and YouTube, I've never done a dedicated ship hunting guide. So here we are, folks, get strapped in because I'm about to go over absolutely everything you need to know about ship hunting in No Man's Sky. So let's get stuck in. Now, of course, there are many places you can get yourself a brand new starship, both on a planet and off them. Sometimes you'll be able to claim a ship for free, which may involve fixing it up a little bit, and sometimes you'll have to buy a ship off an NPC. It really all depends. You could come across a crashed ship without a pilot, in which case, if you like the look of it, of course, you can claim it and just have to fix it up, and then you're free to go. Now, you may also find a crashed ship with a pilot nearby, in which case you'll possibly have to bargain with them to get your hands on it. You can also come across a plethora of ships at trade terminals on a planet's surface, and of course, you can come across the same ships at space stations. And as of the creation of this video, you can currently have up to 12 starships in your fleet at any given time. So if you've maxed that out and you come across a ship that you really want, you're going to have to trade one of your ships for it or scrap it. Though if you do trade a ship for another, you will get a discount on that other ship, and most importantly, if you're doing this, don't forget to transfer any cargo you want to keep to the new ship. Now, each of the different ship types in No Man's Sky have their own strengths and weaknesses, some of which suit different playstyles better than others, but if you're hunting for a specific type of starship, each star system will have a higher or lower spawn rate of certain ships depending on the dominant life form in that system. So, for example, you're more likely to find fighters in Vakeen systems, haulers in Gek systems, explorers in Korvax systems, and finally, in Outlaw systems you're more likely to find solar ships. So, as an overview, each system will spawn 21 different ship designs, and these are split up into 3 explorers, 3 haulers, 3 fighters, 7 shuttles, 1 exotic, and then 4 others depending on the system's dominant race, as I just mentioned. Now, if you're hunting for an S-class ship of any type, which is what most players tend to fancy, then the system you aim for is important as well. So you want to make sure that you've got the economy scanner installed on your current ship. Like, poor economy systems tend to have an almost zero chance of spawning an S-class ship, so I'd definitely avoid those. Average wealth systems will have roughly a 1% chance of spawning S-class ships, whereas wealthy systems have roughly a 2% chance of spawning S-class ships. I mean, even in wealthy systems, it sounds pretty damn rare for you to come across an S-class ship, doesn't it? However, in outlaw systems, the chances of an S-class ship spawning has more than doubled, up to a 5% chance. So, if you're after an S-class ship and you're not overly fussed on the type, get yourself into an outlaw system and hang around the outlaw station or at trading outposts on planet surfaces within said system. You know what, speaking of trading outposts, did you know you can find these basically instantly from your ship's scanner if you have the economy scanner installed on it? Saves hunting for them by exploring or using planetary charts or signal boosters, doesn't it? Now, of course, once you've found a trading outpost, what you have to do really from there is just stand on top of it and scan the ships that come into land. I'd also suggest not taking up one of the landing spots with your own ship so more ships can land at any given time. I mean, at this point, there is no telling how long it would take for a ship that you like or an S-class ship to land, or even if that ship is the one you want. It really is just a matter of trial and error waiting around here, and the same goes for onboard space stations, so it can get kinda boring, and it can take a damn long time for the right ship to come along. And that's where searching for crashed ships comes in as a, well, better alternative option. Now, there are a multitude of ways you can find crashed ships in No Man's Sky, and the first one is just coming across them whilst you're out exploring planets. But for obvious reasons, this isn't recommended because it can take a fair king age to find just one crashed ship. Another way would be to fly across a planet at a low altitude and in first person mode, and keep an eye out on your starship scope for white dots. Now, crashed ships will come across this as a white dot, but so will other ships. So, whilst it's quicker than just exploring, I definitely still wouldn't recommend using this method for finding them. Now, a better method would be, although not necessarily the best method, would be to use Planetary Charts, which can be bought from the cartographer on board any regular space station in exchange for some navigational data. Now, navigational data is pretty damned easy to come across, as you just need to collect the blue and orange glowing boxes on tables in regular space stations. Anyway, if you buy yourself some distress signal planetary charts and then use them, there's a half decent chance it will lead you to a crashed ship, albeit possibly with an NPC. Now, another alternate way would be to use transmission towers. So if you solve a number puzzle, it could give you a distress signal which may lead to a crashed ship. Hopefully minus the NPC so you can claim the ship if you like it. Now, in some instances, it may give you the location to a crashed freighter instead, but you could get some decent resources from that, to be fair. Ain't too bad. Now, onto my two preferred methods of searching for crashed ships, both on land and underwater. Yes, you can find them underwater as well, and that method is to use my Exocrafts. So, two of your Exocrafts have the ability to scan for various objects of interest, including crashed ships. So, I'll start with the Nautilon submarine. If you install the high power sonar to it, you can then get the ability to scan for crashed ships, crashed freighters, sunken buildings, or submerged ruins. So, find yourself a planet with a whole load of water on it and get to scanning in your Nautilon, because you may come across some very rare ships underwater. And that's exactly how I got my hands on my red and purple squid ship, which is the one I use most of the time. The other Exocraft you can use is the Minotaur Exomech. Now, this will scan for distress beacons more so than crashed ships specifically, but half the time, a distress signal ends up being a crashed ship anyway. And there you have it. There are multiple methods for you to find crashed ships on almost all planets. Now, of course, my preferred two methods would be to either use the Exocraft, as I just mentioned, but feel free to choose a different method if you prefer those. Now then, if you fancy yourself some of the pretty damn cool and damn good looking Sentinel ships, these happen to be just a little different. So, while Sentinel ships are technically crashed ships, the method of finding them is different to finding regular crashed ships like I just went over. So, first and foremost, you need to be in a system classed as dissonant, and that should contain one or maybe two corrupted planets within it. Now, you can see if a system is dissonant from the galaxy map instead of where it would usually say water, for example. You can find the location to a Sentinel ship by defeating Final Wave of Space Sentinels or the final wave of Sentinels on the planet's surface. But I personally prefer, exploring a dissonant planet and then destroying a dissonance resonator, as it could give you an echolocator straight from the off. Now, there is also a chance they'd give you an inverted mirror instead, so just go up close to it before you decide to engage, and it should tell you what it's going to give you once you destroy it. And then once you've got an echolocator, that can then lead you to a harmonic camp, and there you can interact with the harmonic interface, solve a little glyph puzzle, and voila, that should then give you the location to an interceptor crash site. Simples. Now, living ships are even different again, because you need to complete the Starbirth quest, which in my opinion is a long slog and a bit of a ball ache because it takes a while. But finding yourself a second living ship tends to be a piece of cake, albeit just a tad expensive. So if you already have a living ship and you want another, or you want a slightly different looking one, you need to grab another void egg from the anomaly for a good amount of quicksilver and then head on into space to hatch it. Instead of doing the Starbirth quest, you should then be given the location to a living ship straight away. Though if you want to claim said living ship, it is going to cost you 10,000 nanites. To be fair, most ship hunters don't go looking for living ships because it is very easy to find them, but I thought it was worth mentioning them here anyway. Now, the vast majority of ships in No Man's Sky can be found by ship hunting, but it is important to know there are a couple of ships that cannot be found because they are only obtained by completing expeditions. Of course, the most recent example of that is the Starborn Runner, which is a reward for completing the latest Omega expedition. Now, I'm a big fan of this one actually, so I made sure to complete the expedition and grab it for myself. And another one you can grab for completing expeditions, though I never actually did this one, is the Golden Vector, which can only be obtained from completing the Pioneers expedition. I think next time this one comes replayable, I shall be completing it because it's a stunning ship. And also not ship related, but I really want the Normandy as well, so I'm hoping the the Beachhead expedition becomes replayable sometime soon as well. Now, with all that said, ship hunting in No Man's Sky can take time until you find your favourite ship. And for some people, that's all part of the fun of it. But there is, of course, a far quicker way of finding incredibly rare ships, and that is by using portal glyphs and browsing the subreddits our NMS Coordinate Exchange and our NMS Glyph Exchange. And a bunch of ship hunters may class this as cheating technically because other players have found the ships and they're just giving you the direct coordinates to find them. And I think that's fair enough, so it all depends on what is more important for you. Finding ships naturally by exploring, but also possibly taking a hell of a long time to find the exact ships you want, or spending a hell of a lot less time finding your perfect ship, but all of the work has been done by someone else. Now, for me personally, I prefer just travelling to the portal coordinates of a ship that takes my fancy. And I've seen these all on Reddit because, again, at the end of the day, time is more important to me than the satisfaction of finally finding a super rare ship just by exploring. So, if you do want to take the coordinates route like me, you will of course need to have unlocked all 16 of the portal glyphs, and you will want quick access to a portal at any time. In the past, I've done a full guide on portals, including the fastest way of finding them, and I've also done a video showing you by far the quickest way of obtaining all 16 of the portal glyphs. So, if like me, you'd rather save time and have a choice of which ship you get, check out both of those videos that I've done in the past before you get yourself on Reddit. I'll leave a link to both of them in the description below for you. And there you have it, folks. There is absolutely everything you need to know about ship hunting in No Man's Sky. I really hope you found this video useful, and if you're still here, it would be totally awesome if you could support my channel by hitting those like and subscribe buttons. You can now become a channel member as well, and as always, thank you for watching this video, and I shall catch you in the next one.